I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With their hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Thank you, everyone. May I now request everyone to kindly be seated? Thank you. First of all, on behalf of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I would like to welcome all of you today to this auspicious occasion of Chötrül Düchen. Chötrül Düchen. And as we begin this auspicious occasion, I would just like to give you a very brief introduction about Chötrül Düchen. It is one of the 4 major annual Tibetan Buddhist festival. It takes place during the first 15th day of the first month of the Tibetan New Year, Losar, when Śākyamuni Buddha's 15-day performance of miracles to inspire faith and devotions in followers is celebrated. This festival celebrates the occurrence of miracles that the Buddha displayed in Sravasti, India, when he was challenged by a group of proponents. In order to restore and nourish a belief in the Buddhist teaching and to honor the allegiance of his Buddhist devotees, the Buddha performed 15 miracles over the period of 15 days. The event not only increased the merit and devotion of the Buddha's disciples, it also attracted non-Buddhists into his teachings. The effects of positive and negative actions are thought to be multiplied 10 million times on this day. It is considered to be a very auspicious day to do spiritual practice, perform good deeds, go on pilgrimages, light Buddha lamps, sponsor prayers, and make offerings. With this, I would like to begin this auspicious session of the Bodhicitta Day, and I would like to inform you all about the program highlights which we have for today's event. First, as we have already commenced the offering the prostration and the lamp lighting ceremony, and after that, I would like to request our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly proceed and to lead the undertaking of the aspirational Bodhisattva pledge as we mark the very auspicious beginning of this year 2026. Venerable Geshe.
Thank you. Hello, 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 hello. Online participants, can you hear me? Online participants, can you hear me? Okay, those at the back, can you hear me? Isabella, can you hear me? Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, the for moderating this program. And Chandala very beautifully explained the significance of this today's program. So basically, let me reiterate what Chandala already explained, is that the Buddha Shakyamuni while Buddha never encouraged his disciples to perform miracles. He never encouraged his disciples to perform miracles. So instead, the Buddha encouraged his disciples to bring about the mental transformation rather than performing miracles, where the tendency for the people is that on the one hand, miracle is happening, miracle performance is happening, and on the other hand, some very concrete teachings on transforming one's mind is happening. People always tend to go to the miracle quicker, easier, and something that can visually be seen. So therefore, the Buddha discouraged, because finally, the idea is to be it miracle or be it some concrete academic studies. The reality is that we have to stop all the tears, painful tears of samsara. And the tears of samsara is truly, truly painful, extremely acutely painful. And to stop that, that is the most important, the purpose. For example, like even in the world, we see that there are some the movie theaters and some hospitals. Movie theaters just for entertainment, but the hospitals, there are people go there with a concrete problem, and nobody wants to really go through these painful experiences. So with this in mind, the Buddha discouraged people from performing miracles, and it so happened that contemporary to the Buddha, there were some teachers. There were the teachers who were teaching something different. At the same time, in those days, there's not much as great the distractions as what we have today. In those days, it's all about, in those days, and the people, they lead a very simple life. And meanwhile, some people who are more dedicated in the direction of the spirituality, within India, India's a land which gave birth to so many traditions, philosophical traditions. So there, some emphasize on performing miracles. So therefore, these teachers, they were in a way jealous of the Buddha's renown, and they think that they are far better than the Buddha. At the same time, the Buddha became so renowned that so many people are attracted, disciples were being attracted. So they, out of jealousy, they tried to put a challenge to the Buddha. And the Buddha accepted the challenge. And then at the stipulated day and time and the place, the Buddha was not there. So again, the arrogance simply stirred up the increase even more. Then they again chased the Buddha. They found the Buddha, again said that you, somebody who is extremely, extremely flawed, and just gave all the derogatory comments. And then again they put a date, time, place for the competition, medical competition. Buddha accepted the challenge. Again on that day, again the Buddha disappeared. It happened for about like the several times. And finally, as said there, particularly on this day, the 15th, for the 15 days, competitions were all in full swing. And on this day, the Buddha's miracle performance, while he discouraged his disciples from performing miracles, there were exceptions given, the places, situations, exceptions were given where somebody can perform the miracle based on the Buddha's advice. Otherwise, Buddha, he himself doesn't really perform miracles too much, and also discourage his disciples from doing so. So on this day, particularly this day, the Buddha performed a lot of miracles that truly outshone the miracle performed by the competitors. So therefore, on this day, finally, all these competitors, there were about like 6 of them, they were all defeated so badly, and then they had to run for their own life. Not that the Buddha was going to kill, they feel the fear that this is somebody who we really undermined, and in actuality, his power is far excelling, infinite, that there's no way by which we can compete with him. So they acknowledged this, and then out of great fright, they left. And they left in so much of fear, seeing that the Buddha's miracle power is so much. If they would have that, they would really destroy all others, all other competitors. But the Buddha, on the other hand, while having such power, is all of the compassion that he did not really use his powers to destroy others. So they, on the other hand, felt because of their own guilt, they just ran away. They flew, and so this was the day that marked that the Buddha had so much of miracle power. And then the reality is that Buddha always encouraged people for mental transformation. Mental transformation, finally, that all our pains and all our joys, they're the result of one's own thinking. Where your thinking is the proper, then the happiness follows. Where the thinking is wrong, they're driven by ignorance, miseries follow. So unfortunately, today in the world, wherever you look at, things like it's such a degenerated era that the world is just thrown the torn apart into the chaos. So much of chaos everywhere, in the family and in the national level, the regional level, the global level. There's so much of chaos there, and this is very sad. But the chaos are not randomly happening. So we can't really blame that this is what it is, so there's no point. There's no point. The point is that you, me, each one of us, we contribute to this world. So just see how to contribute in a better way. And the fact that you are all here is a clear indication that you have a sense of empathy for the world, a pain the world is going through. You have the sense of empathy. This in itself is so precious. With this mind, the next question of what can we do? And some of us may feel so helpless that there's nothing that I can do. But yes, of course, you can do something. What can you do? For example, like look at Buddha Shakyamuni, 2,500 years ago. So on this day, he performed a miracle, and these say that he attained full awakening under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. And then this, for the last 2,500 years, we see that all over on the planet Earth, so many brilliant, the masters, brilliant enlightened beings like Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Asanga, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shantideva, Bodhisattva Rakshita, Acharya Kamalashil, all these enlightened masters, they've been produced as the product of his enlightenment, of the Buddha Shakyamuni's enlightenment, and we in our own capacity, we can also do likewise. Find the whole world is governed by karma. Karma doesn't mean some kind of agent outside there. It is our own action. Karma means action, our own action, and the act of, say, the compassionate action driven by compassion, intelligence. Driven by compassion, this will bring such a huge impact in the world. So therefore, with this in mind, what we're doing here is to see how to cultivate the wisdom or the intelligence on the one hand, and on the other hand, there's a wisdom to be driven by compassion, how to cultivate the compassion. So two wings of the bird across the ocean of samsara, to help yourself, help your family members, help the community, and help the world be a better world. For example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, just imagine that he has been always thinking of the world, the peaceful world, the world peace. And for that, he could see that finally it's not a blame game. We have to do something, we have to act something. We have to have a proper plan for the future. That what is today is the outcome of the past. And what's the future is the outcome of today. So he came up with a proper strategy, proper plan, to leave something for the future generation. That at least future generation can be more peaceful generation, and the world, the future generation is going to engage in would be more peaceful one. For that, His Holiness thought about, say, all these what is happening going around you is all because of the thinking of you, your family, the people around, your boss, your managers, your juniors, and so forth. And so is the thinking of the people. When thinking of the people is very peaceful, naturally the world is very, very peaceful. So thinking is determined by the education. Today we see that everywhere in the world, except for maybe some 0.00% of the human population, otherwise majority, 99% of the human population, they invest so much of time, energy, resources on the education, expecting that this is one which can protect us, which can give us a better life. Better life means more peaceful world. So because you are in a very disturbed world, wars and so forth, how can you have peace? Even if you are a millionaire, billionaire, but the world is on fire, how can you expect to be at peace? When you can be attacked one day, we never know. So therefore, the thing is that finally, we as human beings, our thinking determines your mental state, our thinking determines the world around. So for this, His Holiness has such a visionary, the practical tool provided, which His Holiness calls as universal ethics. And that was years ago, like a decade ago, His Holiness already launched it. And in the world, here in Delhi, internationally, it was launched in Delhi, I think 2014. And now having taken the shape of what is known as the main umbrella of the universal ethics, to be adopted by everyone, irrespective of what the individual, what the person is, irrespective of their religion, their ethnicity, and so forth, to be adopted by everyone, that they come to realize the value of compassion, value of gratitude, value of the wisdom, and thereby when they start to take responsibility of the world, they're going to become a more responsible citizen leaders or the citizens of the world. So today, it is taking the shape of what is known as C learning, social, emotional, ethical learning. So this plays such a crucial role, and under the vision, as the vision of His Holiness, and championed by His Holiness to be revered as the champion of compassion. Mahatma Gandhi reveres as the champion of ahimsa or non-violence. His Holiness to be referred to as the champion of compassion. So with his vision of the universal ethics, Emory University, USA, and they actually implemented this, taking this in the form of mission, in the form of what is known as C learning. So now it's being spread everywhere, and anybody who takes part in this, to make sure that, of course, first you are transformed. Don't think that I will take this, adopt this C learning program, and then try to spread it to the world, make the world a better world. First, the charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Oftentimes, we do not adopt the C learning. They themselves extreme, unhappy person, can be at times cruel also, and then thinking that you're doomed for the world. So that is where you do not have the gold. There's no way by which you can export gold, the gold of happiness. You must be rich in the gold of happiness. Without that, you cannot possibly spread this at the gold or export this gold to others. So the point is that, so this is what we are trying in our own capacity. We are trying to do this. In our own capacity, each one of us, the fact that you are interested in this program, to just see, like, to appreciate the Buddha's immense contribution to the world, the compassion and so forth, that itself is a great contribution. So what I would say is that each one of us, we try to make a fresh commitment that, and those of us who have a broader knowledge of the Dharma, broader knowledge of the Buddhist philosophy and psychology, that's my commitment, that I should become enlightened the way the Buddha Shakyamuni did, the way His Holiness the Dalai did, and the way the great teachers like Nagarjuna and so forth, they did, so that I can really benefit, protect the whole world. And for those of us who are new to this concept, you may make a commitment that I must try, at least in my own capacity, try to spread the word of compassion to others, at least not to create problem in my own family, and try to spread the word of compassion. Try as much to benefit others to the best you can. So this much, if you can commit yourself, this is the whole purpose of our being together. So having said this, then what happened was that this was the background story about the universal ethics, and then the Buddha's performance of miracles, enormous miracles, to the extent that it was seen as the day of the victory of the light. And then in Tibet, why this day is being observed as the prayer festival, it was that in 14th century AD, there was a great Tibetan teacher, enlightened master by the name Lama Tsongkhapa, which most of you are already aware of. And Lama Tsongkhapa, he becomes such a renowned teacher all over the whole of Tibet, and then in China, Mongolia, all the Himalayan belt, he became extremely popular. And of course, such an enlightened master. If you look at his literary works, from there you can see that who this enlightened master is. And then what he said is that this day must be observed as the prayer festival or the miracle day, the day the Buddha performed the miracles, or in a loose the sense is also referred to as the great prayer festival day. Okay, so this is what he started to commemorate the Buddha's performance of miracles in order to subdue, in order to dispel the ill effects of the wrong thinking, perverted thoughts, and the wrong actions, wrong thinking. So this is the indication, symbolic, a reminder for us to not externally, but internally, each one of us, that we should within ourselves, we see that there are two things. One is the good side of us, being compassionate. Sometimes we're compassionate, we're nice, and sometimes we are also a little nasty. So there are two sides within us, the evil and the angel. There are two within us, and then see how to let this angel win over the evil. So this should be the reminder for us, and externally we observe this day that the Buddha Shakyamuni as a reminder to commemorate this great, the enlightened master, the sun of the world, to really illuminate the world, to remove the darkness of ignorance. Within ourselves, we need to think that this is what the outside, but this is symbolic, and internally, I should have to create the light of compassion, light of wisdom, to win over the darkness of the evils, darkness of our evil practices, evil thoughts, and evil actions, evil verbal expressions, and so forth. And finally, become a happier person. And the one thing that we can for sure say, the legacy of the Buddha is for us to learn how to be more compassionate. Be more compassionate, and you're a happier person. Be harmless, practice harmlessness, and you see that you have benefited. So the two main messages is try to reduce the act of harming others, and try to expand your compassion to others, and that too in the spirit of the wisdom. This Yomala. So there are 3 spaces here, and 3 there. There are more spaces up there. Come. Okay, those who do not have cushions, you can sit in the front. There are 3 seats here. Okay, so with this in mind, that should be the motivation for us, that this day is being a very special day. And then each one of us, keep in mind that each one of us, we have the diamond-like potential to be free from all the miseries, and to have the ability to feel the ease at the infinity. So this is potential that we all have, and we all have stories of pain. We all have stories of pain. It's very, very, very painful, and acute painful. And some of you may not have that experience yet, and then whereas others have, and those who do not have, yes, life will not spare us from these painful experiences. So just raise hands, those who have such painful experience in your life. Raise hands. Very, very, very painful experiences, very acutely painful. Yes, it's extremely, extremely painful. So remember those things. And is it that these are eternal, that there's no escape from such a pain? Answer is no, there's escape. And if you look for the external forces, externally for the solutions, yes, temporary cure can be there, but the ultimate cure lies within yourself. It's like sound of clap. The sound of clap, one hand symbolic of external factors, and the other hand symbolic of internal factors. And external factors, yes, of course, we can, for example, like if you have the headache, or if you have feeling cold, then you put on heating system on. If you're feeling the hot, you can put the cooling system on. It's all temporary measures. But and then if somebody starts to abuse you, you try to maneuver the situation actually where you're not affected as much. So try to stay away from the external factors. But finally, of the two hands, external factors are innumerable in number, whereas internal factor is just two: selfishness and ignorance. These are the two things. So we can easily remove the internal factors. And external factors, no matter how strong the external factors are, you're not affected. Your mind would not feel that pain. The pain is removed altogether. So therefore, finally, we see that all the efforts, believe it or not, before we start this program, I'd like to make this comment and then we will start. All our efforts since our childhood, since the age of, like, in some cases, 2-3 years. Jimala, when did you start the school? When your age? You don't remember? You ask your mom? 3 years. So 3 years from there, now 20. So all these 17 years, so much energy, time, resources invested, and still more to be invested. For what? For what? Expecting that my life will be easier, my life will be a better life. So, and all the energy that we've invested on this, and each one of us, we did that. Each one of us, we did that. So with this, what's the outcome? Is it that there's going to be lasting the solution to all the problems because of the investment that you made on your education and these things? No, there's no lasting the solution. Even if somebody is academically more successful, business-wise more successful, power-wise more successful, still there's some holes there. There's a vacuum there in one's heart. There's a vacuum there. It's a reality, not only for one person, he, she, so forth. We all have this vacuum of the pain. So the solution is there. All what we have been doing thus far is more like a temporary solution. That's the lasting solution. The lasting solution is, number one, stay away from harming others. Number one, try your best not to harm others, even in thoughts, verbal and physical. And then, if possible, try to help as much as possible. Help others, be kind to others, and that too, with the wisdom. It's not just like, okay, I'm being kind, and then sometimes, for example, like if there's an alcoholic and the person said, please give me money, and then you know the person is going to invest this on the more alcohol. So it's not helping, and you think that you're kind. This is so unwisely being kind. When I say kind, it should be wise kindness, wisely being kind. So these two things, the not harming others, and if possible, benefit others, help others, be kind to others, driven by the intelligence, the wisdom. If that happens, you come to realize, experientially, you can realize by the time you reach, like, depending on your the past propensities or proclivities, depending on that, some people can realize it more quickly at the age of like 30s, you realize this, and for others will realize this when you are in your 40s. You realize finally, the peace of my mind is determined by how kind I am. This is what you will realize. Okay, so having said this, what we are trying to do here is, while commemorating this great teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, the greatness, his radiance, exuberance of his compassion, the wisdom to the world, we're trying to remind ourselves that I should not suffer. I should be happy, and I should spread happiness. So this should be the motive. But this mind, let's turn to page 3. And every time we read these, it's not just for the sake of the reading. It's not the ritual that we're doing. Okay, so it's not just ritual that we're doing. This is where your mind is activated. The peace, happiness is activated within ourselves. So for that matter, when we read, there are three. Remember, there are three ways of reading. Kunjabla, Jamani, Chadi, Jamani. Okay, there are three ways of reading these sources. One is just read with the words flow. Number two, words flow and the meanings reflected. Number three, words flow, meanings reflected, and the experiences invoked. Let me repeat it. Say the three ways reading these texts. Say one person simply words flow and the mind is distracted elsewhere. And the another person reading it with the meanings reflected. Number three, words flow, meanings reflected, and your experiences also invoked. Experiences invoked. Of the three, the first one, what is the benefit? Finally, whatever we do, there should be some benefit. The first person, what's the benefit? And what's the third person? The benefit. The benefit is a million times more. The time spent is just the same. Energy spent is the same. Simply because the third one, did it in a very skillful way, meanings reflected, and the experiences invoked. So therefore, the person gets it like a million times more than what the first person accrued. So with this mind, but for those people who are able to do the third one, requires years of practice, study, contemplation, and meditation. Whereas at least for us, we can do the second, which means where the words flow and the meanings reflected. If you can do this much, the benefit is like 1,000 times more than just the words being uttered. Okay, with this mind, imagine that now that we're starting the program, imagine that in front of us, the Buddha Shakyamuni here, we have the Buddha here, and visualize Buddha Shakyamuni in the living form, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened masters of the past, like Adi Nagarjuna and so forth, all the enlightened masters, and also the Guru Padmasambhava and all the teachers around him, and the great teacher Saraha, the master Dilupa, Narupa, Jesumarpa, Jesumila, Jesunapalaji, all the Kaju great masters, and also think of the great teacher Sachen Kunganyingbo, Sakya Pandita, and all the Sakya masters, and also Pudun, the teacher, and the Shalu masters, and the Pudong masters, and also Lama Dijitibunga Shiriyana and his teacher Lama Silingpa, and then Lama Tsongkhapa, Gyaltsar Chötrül Düchen, and all these great teachers are with us. And you are surrounded by your two parents. And even though you may have some difficulty issues with your parents, what we are trying to do is we're trying to transcend the ordinary people's thinking. That the fact that people have conflicts, these are all the indications for being ordinary. So we're trying to transcend that by being nice to everybody, where your ease expands to infinity. So with this mind, think of your two parents and all of our members, including children, and everyone in the world, in the universe, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe, including all the tiniest of the creatures in the oceans, and to the biggest of the blue whales in the oceans, and from the tiniest of the insects in the wilderness to the biggest of the elephants, so forth. All the beings are with you. So with this mind, imagine that you are leading this practice, and all beings are joining us. So with this mind, let's turn to page 3. And okay, maybe I can request somebody. Okay. Adisha. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so usually okay, it's fine. Okay, now I will and lead the prayers. Usually we request somebody to lead the prayer, or rather than me doing it. Okay, it's fine. Page 3 now, the last verse. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel. The last. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Dola Penjere Sanye Dubarai Sho Sanye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapso Che Jinso kebe sonam ge chola benje sanje dubarai sho. I go for refuge and enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to being beings. I go for refuge and enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, host of Bodhisattvas and the Buddhists. The Lord of all, which leads the hearers seeking pacification, complete peace. The Lord of the past, which causes the Bodhisattvas with the altruism to benefit to my greatest wretched aims of the world. And omniscience, the thorough possession of which helps the Buddha expound a variety of teachings and down with complete aspects of subjects. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guide and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who attend the chance for the forever noble light raised, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Okay, this verse is from. Okay, first let me quickly explain the earlier verse. The one who has transformed into a reliable guide. So they say that each one of us, we know that our life is always painful. There's always some problem. If you, what is the conventionally seen as successful person, still you have a problem, pains, and somebody who inflicts pains on others, you also have a pain. Somebody has inflicted pain. You are creating a new chapter of pain for yourself. So this is what is happening. Now, what can we do to make sure that at least my pain is taken care of, that my pain is already removed completely, and that my heaven expands to infinity. So looking at the history of the humanity, we see that the Buddha Shakyamuni, Prince Siddhartha, who otherwise was leading such a luxurious life, of a princely life, and he left everything. He went barefooted. And how many of us think that we can do that? So he did it. Why? There must be a bigger aspiration, bigger goal that was in his mind. So what was happening was that eventually, after all these many years, 6 years of the austere practice, under the Bodhi tree, then this Prince Siddhartha became the Buddha, the full awakened one, where all his pain stopped and he got the wisdom to get rid of the pain of all others. So the first line says, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide. So because he went through this process himself, he exactly knows how to get away from the miseries. So to lead the beings, guide the beings to the state where all the miseries are stopped. So he says the one who has transformed from Prince Siddhartha to the Gautama the Buddha, to the reliable God Gautama the Buddha. And how did this transformation happen? Transformation from an ordinary prince to a fully awakened one, enlightened one. How did it happen? I also want to become one like that. Each one of us, we should be inspired by this Prince Siddhartha. So how did he succeed? How did it succeed? So initially, it was motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The first, the compassion part. So knowing that there's so much wars happening in the world in those days, the kingdoms, they were fighting amongst each other and killing so many people, and poverty there, and within the family, within the community, we see that richer people, more powerful people abusing the others, the less powerful ones, them abusing. All these is unseen by and then injustices happening even in the palace. This was what this Prince Siddhartha they witnessed, and because of this, he thought that if I lead my life like this, at the most I can become the king. If I become king, what can I do? Look at my father. He's already king, but he's going to do anything. Forget about saving the world. He can't even protect his own kingdom. So this is a situation. So therefore, this Prince Siddhartha thought that I must look for an alternative way, not the way my father led. So he left the palace to look for an alternative way. So the motivated by altruism, but compassion made him to leave the palace to look for a solution to help all the beings. Altruism to benefit sentient beings. Then what did he do? What he did do is he left the palace, and then he went in search of a solution. What solution is there to solve the problem of all the beings? So motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher meaning solution that he has to teach the world when he actually found the solution. So as the teacher. So the solution that he found, he experimented on himself to see whether or not it works. And then he realized that all these self-grasping ignorance with the wisdom that he found, wisdom of emptiness that he found, with the practice, then the iceberg of the ignorance melts, and whatever step on this, all the miseries, they just dissolved. So Sugata, the state of the pure bliss, the state of the pure bliss is what Prince Siddhartha experienced himself. So with this experience, then he went to protect the beings. The teacher, Sugata, and protector, he went to protect the being. So this is how you lose your life to save the world. And this is exactly what I also want. I also don't want to shed tears now anymore. All painful tears is enough. I want to stop it completely. So the way you did, I also like to follow. So to you, I make prostrations. This is the verse. Let us recite this once more together. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Let me quickly explain this part. The first one, which we just explained, was composed by Acharya Dignaga in 6th century AD, and as a word of salutation to the Buddha, as the word for his book, the compilation of the recognition or the Pramana Samuchaya. And then the next verse, which we just read, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations. This is the one composed by Acharya Dharmakirti 100 years later. That was in 7th century AD. He composed this, and when you look at this, we'll be inspired. So what he said is that the one who has eliminated the web of conceptual, all our problems are because of all conceptual thoughts, yes, they being judgmental of others, and they say overthinking. All these conceptual thoughts, they disturb a mind. That brings all the tears of samsara. So the one who's eliminated the web of conceptualizing, all the conceptualizations, all eliminated, who referring to the Buddha, and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, and he's able to eradicate all the mental defilements and the gem inside. Each one of us, we have like the gem. Each one of us, whatever, no matter who you are, your gender, your religious background, ethnicity, whatever, we all have this pure. We have the potential for the perfect purity. We have the potential for the perfect enlightenment. So this, when the conceptualizations of the wrong thoughts, they're all eliminated, then this potential insight will be manifested. When that is manifested, it is endowed, then you become the one endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound. the profound refers to the Sambhogakaya, where the true nature of yourself manifests in the form of what is known as Sambhogakaya, or the enjoyment body. And then meanwhile, your emanations is known as the Nirmanakaya, or the emanation body of the Buddhas. You emanate yourself. You can emanate like infinite number of times to benefit the beings. For example, like Buddha Shakyamuni, while he was giving teachings in Rajgir, the Great Kutta or Balcha's Peak, Chogopumburi, when the Buddha was giving teaching the Heart Sutra, simultaneously he manifested his emanation, is what you find in Amaravati in South India, giving teachings on Shirikala Jagra. So simultaneously, these things are happening because of the eradication of the mental defilements, and that he is able to stop his painful tears, able to benefit all the beings, being able to emanate himself in innumerable times. So this is the meaning of is being endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound. Then who eternal chants for the forever noble light rays. These light rays are the metaphor for the Buddha being able to benefit the beings by giving teachings, performing miracles, and so forth, thereby becoming helping the beings. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Okay, we'll read this once more. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. We recite this mantra 3 times together, and the meaning is, don't think that I recite the mantra, I get some power or some miracle will happen to us. The real miracle is to gain conviction. That, say if you plant an apple seed, don't expect mangoes growing out of that. Mangoes will grow only by planting mango seeds, not apple seeds. By doing wrong things, doing non-virtues, don't expect happiness. By doing wrong things, only miseries will follow. And if you want happiness, you have to inculcate good qualities, virtues. So this is the reminder for us that in our life, try our best to do something good, because what we expect is good results, and try as much to stop the miseries by stopping the non-virtues to harm others. So this is the message of this mantra. Let us write this 3 times together. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Meaning of the independent original mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. Whatever is the cessation of these causes is taught thus by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, and non-composite. Such the nectar of Dharma I have discovered, finding no one to fathom this teaching. In silence I'll retire into words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has an initial space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I be obeisance. The 4 seals of Buddha's teachings. All composite things impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness, transcendent sorrows, peace. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. Instructions on parting from four attachments. If you're attached to this life, you're not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, if you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there's, you do not have the view. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I brought all sentient beings to as my guest. I will engage in appealing these excellence of enlightenment may become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, let us turn to page 15 and page 15. The praise to Śākyamuni Buddha, page 15. Okay, so today is a commemoration of the Buddha's, the miracle performance day. So page 15, let us try to recall the Buddha's qualities based on, and every time we recall the Buddha's qualities, it's not that you praise the Buddha and Buddha is very happy. This is not the point. You praise the Buddha for his qualities, and with the qualities, see how much you have of these qualities. If you do have, acknowledge and rejoice in your goodness. But if you don't have, keep in mind that you also have the seeds of these amazing qualities. So to see how to nurture these qualities, identifying what the qualities are with which the Buddha is praised for. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the Tathagata, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, and thou, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, be you paced of 7 strides, then set up supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 worlds, then of the best, Lord to you prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold to you are prostrate. Prostrate like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incompatible wise one to you are prostrate. Your Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, filled with merit with qualities like vast ocean. To you, the Tathagata prostrate. The purity that frees from attachment, the virtue that frees from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies are prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, fully feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to our moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. I prostrate to the Buddha, the chief of bipeds. I prostrate to the Dhamma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the supreme one. To all 3 I always prostrate with reverence. With extreme devotion, do I always prostrate to all who are worthy of prostrations, through surrendering my body's numbering particles that constitute all realms, do not commit any non-virtuous actions, but from only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See, condition things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of false omniscience, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered the samsara ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29, or the new edition is page 30. Okay, new edition 31, and the old edition is page 29. Page 29 or 31. Okay, so reciting in Heart Sutra, we should know that to put the background information given, then Shariputra stood up to ask question to Aravalokiteshvara. So we need to remember what was the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara. What question was asked? The question asked is, how should the child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? So somebody wanting to stop the tears of samsara, painful tears of samsara, what should we practice for yourself and for others? This question asked. Then Aravaduteshvara responded by saying that the only way by which to do so is by realizing, to discover the reality of things, yourself, the reality of self, the reality of others. What is meant by the reality? Ontological reality. Ontological reality, not just reality. Okay, this is a flower, this is a table. This is not what Aravaduteshvara is referring to. Instead, he was referring to the ontological reality, which means the object, what is there. For example, what if says a flower was a flower? Yes, obviously from surface or from distance we see a flower, but for the element, the particle physicists, they see just full of atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons. So on that level, deeper reality, we see that the concept of flower dissolves. So just you in the dream, you see things, very beautiful things, the undesirable things, and you wake up to discover they're all just coming from mind, from the object. There's nothing really there. Likewise, this flower, we see the flower from a mind, but a part of mind, but you go to the object, like a dream, is just purely empty of object reality. So this is what is known as the ontological reality. So our job is, unless until we understand the ontological reality of things, the tears, painful tears, will never stop visiting us. So if you really want to stop the painful tears, this ontological reality is what must be discovered. So this is when the response that Aravaduteshvara is giving as to how to discover the ontological reality, that nothing truly exists as objectively, it's all coming from your mind. So the moment you discover that, it's like waking up from the nightmare. You wake up from the nightmare of being chased by the ghost. The moment you wake up, you get such a relief to discover that all what happened in the dream is just my mind, play of my mind. Objectively, it's all empty. So this is what Aravaduteshvara is teaching us, how to view everything like a dream. Okay, let's read this. And then the Aravaduteshvara further, the third point, he said that this is the only gateway through which somebody can stop the painful tears. This is the only gateway. All the Buddhas of the past, all the Buddhas of 3 times, Buddhas of the past, the present, future, they all traverse this gate alone. So without this gate, there's no way by which we can stop the painful tears. Okay, so let's read it together. I prostrate to the Chötrul-Du-Chen. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was traveling on the massive Bodhicitta mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena of profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravaduteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also the empty of inherent nature. Then through the body of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravaduteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravaduteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Empty is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, fading, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not division, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no fading, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no vision form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. So on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There's no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom. The mind without restoration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint in nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in 3 times, also manifestly completely awakened, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, and reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, a mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to the unfold, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, will be known as truth, since it is not false. A mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Yata Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Samgade Bodhi Swaha. Charipudra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arabhadaviteshvara, saying, well said, from the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom, just as you've indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvatiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arabhadaviteshvara, those are in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and praised. That's spoken by the Buddha. Teyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Arasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Arasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha. By the teachings of the three supreme Jews, possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer ignorance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the whole 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may all special perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verses to portray the mind. But the next page, the immediate next page, 8 verses between the mind. So we require the 2 wings of the bird to cross the ocean of samsara. And 1 wing is the wing of the wisdom. Our sutra we read, that is for the wisdom. And now we're reading 8 verses between the mind. This is for the wisdom. Compassion. The wing of the wisdom and the wing of compassion. And for compassion, to cultivate the compassion, this is something that we learn that anybody who is more compassionate, naturally you are a happier person. Somebody who's more compassionate is a happier person. This is for guaranteed. Even though financially you may be very weak and you may not have as much recognition in the community as much, it doesn't matter. Where you are compassionate, you are a very happy person. So, and you see that compassion, again, we see this on 2 levels. On the mundane compassion level, mundane level of compassion, and the higher level of compassion. When you really start to feel the higher level of compassion, there are techniques to practice those. When you start to feel the higher level of compassion, this is what you can see in his holiness. No matter what external factors there, his holiness is not deterred by this. He's so compassionate. He never give up. For example, like, generally speaking, but it's not applicable to all of us, that we have to reach to a certain level of the practice. Then you can apply this to ourselves. Otherwise, you may think that, okay, I'm too bad, I'm not doing like this, I try my best, but then there's a saturation level there beyond which I cannot do, and you may feel so bad, you may feel guilty. No, don't feel guilty. So the point is that in whatever little way you are practicing compassion, it's so good. So if you cannot give like 1,000 rupees to somebody, a beggar, somebody who is need, even to give like 100 rupees or 10 rupees, that's also good. So just in whatever little way that you're helping others, just do that. And what I'm saying is that when you reach through these two methods to generate these two techniques to cultivate this compassion, when you reach to that level of compassion, then you become very, very courageous. Otherwise, say, oh, there's somebody who needs 1,000 rupees. Would it be, is it a genuine case? Yes, very genuine. Then you give 1,000. Oh, now this person is in require of 1 lakh rupees. Can you give? No way. So now you find the saturation level where that you can go beyond. Your compassion doesn't reach that level. 1 lakh rupees, I'm sorry, I don't have this much. I cannot. So some people can. Some people said no, too much. Okay, so you have found the level, your level of the compassion. And say in some cases, or somebody needs help, you help. And the person becomes better, and eventually the person has become better than you, then jealousy may come. That is where you find the level of the threshold of your compassion. But that is not a fixed threshold. This is not intrinsic. On the intrinsic, the threshold, you can go beyond this. Even this threshold can be pushed further through techniques to practice compassion. So these two techniques are known as the sevenfold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. These two methods are there. So with these two methods, then you can push this threshold way, way, way higher. Higher meaning that your compassion go way beyond, to the extent that the mundane disturbance cannot really affect you. You become so courageous with respect to helping others, and then you are not affected. Sometimes we feel affected, and then you shrink. That is because your compassion needs to be practiced more. So when you reach certain level of compassion, then you become very courageous, and you see that this is a great opportunity for me to practice even more, that I can benefit more beings. Look at His Holiness. Despite all the deterrent factors, His Holiness never feels deterred, always expanding his compassionate gesture, helping others. This is amazing. So this is the thing. Now to cultivate this pride, such a high level of the compassion, where the ease that you get out of practice of compassion, but the compassion goes beyond this mundane level of compassion, then the ease, some very unique, beautiful ease builds up within you. That ease is something, is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. We have never experienced that. Ordinary people have never. You eat cheesecake, they will not give you this ease. You eat momos, you will not feel this ease. You go into the birthday parties, celebration, dance, nightclub, you will never feel this ease. This is something so beautiful. So this comes only with a very high level practice of the compassion. When you succeed in this, then you feel this ease. This ease gives you confidence. This ease gives you the confidence. Okay, so to practice this, there are two things to keep in mind. One is to avoid the deterrent factors, to avoid the conducive factors of compassion. And on the other side, we need to cultivate the conducive factors. For the conducive factors, to cultivate conducive factors, these are the two methods. And to remove the non-conducive factors, what pushes us from the practice of compassion? For example, anger. Anger make you push others away from you. Whereas compassion makes you embrace others. So anger is the enemy of compassion. And ego. Ego makes you feel puffed up. I'm somebody, and who are you? So that again makes you to push others away from you. So your compassion is undermined. When compassion is undermined, your treasure, beautiful treasure of the ease, beautiful treasure to stop you from the painful tears. Those treasure, they are being enshrouded more with the mental defilements of the ego and anger. Ego and anger gives you a feeling that it gives you a sense of the strength. It is a faulty strength. It's not real strength. It's a weakness. It makes your treasure not to manifest. So you need to put effort, undermine the ego, undermine the anger. And the author here, Geshe Langri, identifies those factors which will otherwise trigger ego within us, trigger anger within us, trigger stress within us. Identify those things. It's because of these factors that they do not allow you to grow your compassion. So he identifies these factors and taught us how to minimize, how to mitigate the power of these factors. Okay, let's read this. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Langre Tangpa. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, we surpass even the wishful function and hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, and those mental and emotional afflictions arise as they endanger myself and others, I strongly confront them, avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I've discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've helped or in whom I've helped raise great hopes makes me in extremely hurtful ways, may regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the exchange of the 8 mundane concerns. May recognizing all things as illusions, devoted clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, past the space there have been messed. From working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, let us turn to Mandala offering, page 42, the new book, page 42, and the old one, page 40, the new one, page 42. Okay, let us say this. So here, let's pray. We're making this offering of the mandala to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and let's pray that the world, all the chaos, the turbulence, the disturbance, and the conflicts may all dissolve. May everybody stay on the global level, on the domestic family level also. May there be peace. May nobody feel the fear. May nobody have to live in fear. Everybody can take a fresh breath of air of the ease and the relaxation and the ease. Okay, so let's pray for that. So as a means for doing that, we offer this, the material to all the Bodhisattvas. This ground, adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as the Buddha felt and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. In Tibetan. O Sajebe Ge Choshe Tam The 4 Dhammas of Venerable Gambopa. May we bless that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May we bless that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May be blessed that the path is straight of flaws. May be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas, Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated by the ignorance that grasps true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that doesn't see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Radha Mandala Nirati Amen. The next page, the foundation of all good qualities. This is the roadmap to enlightenment. We talked about that from where I am today, full of misery, stress, anxiety, sadness, painful tears. From there, I want to go to the destination where all my tears, painful tears, stop. I can take a fresh breath of air, of compassion, of ease. So you require a roadmap. So this is a short composition by Lama Tsongkhapa with 14 verses to give us a roadmap to your awakening. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and a perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him demonstrates road to the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon with great respect, understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to gender mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly decades and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues comes. Finding firm conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by the pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, great caution arise. The root teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I fall in the sea of samsara, so for all mother migratory beings, please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 times of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quit within my mind stream, unified path will come about in special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training general path, please bless me to enter the holy gate of the 4 ones, the Supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the base of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and bless the life of my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never give up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and especially friends who practice that for long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all out any inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of stages and the paths and will attain the state of Vajratara. We'll recite this maximum verse in the English followed by the Tibetan. You are Bodhicitta, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Majushu, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, the whole Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losar by aid of feet and make prostrations. Losar tabe shabla sovade Lo sa ta be sham la so ba de me te je re se te me gembe om bo jambe aje gembe so ye so ga ba lo sa ta be sham la so va de Yorabadavadeshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Sungaba, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losantaba at your feet, amid restorations. Okay, next generating the mind of consummate yoga, the main practice. First, we'll do 5 minutes of shamatha single-pointed meditation or shamatha meditation. Whatever meditation that you are used to, you can do that. And we get 5 minutes. Are you ready? Okay, now we will do Bodhicitta directly, and for which first sit properly. And Bodhicitta, this is the core. This is the main the part of the practice that we're doing here in this program. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or the Buddha's Bodhisattva in space in front of us, as so loving, caring, and embracing. And that you are surrounded by your two parents and all of them blessing the children and all the mother sentient beings with you, living on the side. And we're trying to generate the Bodhicitta, the altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, so that what stops us to feel the ease, that is the selfishness. Selfishness, that is the one which stops, which hampers us to feel the infinite ease. While we have the potential, why we are not feeling that is because of the selfishness. To curb the selfishness, we practice the compassion. So let us just invoke the spirit. May my Buddha nature, may my hidden treasure manifest fully, so that I will experience the complete enlightenment and be able to benefit all the beings, where all my tears will be stopped, and that I'll be able to teach others how to stop their tears. Just feel that may I become Buddha. Buddha meaning awakened one. May I be fully awakened for the benefit of sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Just generate this mind for a while. Now verbally as well, we will say this together 3 times. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Our body's experience of this bodhicitta for a while. This is the most beautiful mind, beautiful mind that possibly exists in this entire universe. And today you've generated this. And this beautiful mind of the bodhicitta, imagine that it transforms into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made this courageous commitment to become Buddha, but what makes you think that you can become Buddha? Buddha meaning awakened one. Your treasure inside is manifested fully. No matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. But I'm not a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing of which oil does come out. I have the Buddha nature within me. I have the hidden treasure within me. But how come that is not awakened, is not manifested since time immemorial till today? Yes, that's all because of the deception that I fall prey to. Self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. These are true demons I discover now. Thus far, I thought that these were the best of my friends to give me strength and the power. And today I discovered, to my dismay, to discover that these two are the demons. They always come in the facade of guarding me, protecting me. In actuality, they are the worst of my enemies, always hampering me, always harming me, stopping me from the experience of the full awakening. So what do you do now? I'm going to resort to a very powerful remedy to counteract these two demons. What is the remedy? Okay, now the remedy lies in the wisdom of emptiness. Let's quickly meditate on the wisdom of emptiness. What is going to be a guided meditation? Okay, what are you doing? To discover that you are like a dream, that everything is like a dream, that you wake up from sleep of ignorance and all the fears of the fears in the dream stops. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is this body doing? Body is a meditative state. And how does the person appear to you who identifies I, appear to as object like a dream, or like a moving projected by projector, or as objectively there, so solidified, objectified there? Of course, objectified there. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. And how to know that is ignorance, that is not valid mind? Remember what Nagarjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, were not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this person were to exist objectively, why do not see this person as I go closer to the object? Going closer to the object, which is technically known as the subjectiveness person ultimate analysis. So those of us who are new to this concept, don't worry, just try to follow as much as you can. And whereas many of you already exposed to the concept of emptiness, you will follow me with ease. So subjecting this person ultimate analysis, I just end up seeing the thin layer of the skin, behind that the fatty tissues, behind that the whole skeleton, the muscles, cartilages, the heart, the lungs, the liver, all the solid parts constitute the element of earth. And element of earth is not identified as I. Element of water, 4 liters of air, 4 liters of blood that then 4 liters of blood, which pump in and out by the heart to different parts of the body, that is also not me. Element of air or element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy of the body. Of course, that is not the self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that is also not me. Element of space, 99.99% of our body is vacuum. Our body is nothing but made of atoms, and the atoms, the neutron, the nucleus, and the electrons. The space between the nucleus and the electrons is way bigger in comparison with the space occupied by the electrons themselves and the nucleus. So essentially, we are like vacuum. But I'm a solid person. I'm not a vacuum. Even the space is also not me. Element of mind, the mind that I have. Even that's also not me. People can see me. People cannot see my mind. And also that I'm a male, I'm a female. The gender is posited purely based on the body, and the mind is not the gender. So therefore, even this mind, the element of mind is also not me. Okay, now tell me, you have seen so closely, like what Nagarjuna taught, if the mirage were to be water, were not those close to the mirage see water. Likewise, if I were to exist objectively, why don't I see this object in the eyes of ultimate analysis? In the eyes of ultimate analysis, this I dissolves. Now tell me, where is the self as object real? To my amazement, none of the 6 elements is to be identified as the self. If not, remove them to see if it exists as different from 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, nothing is left there. Okay, now what do you see? Where is the self as object real? It's just my illusion. It's just no there. It's not there in our eyes of ultimate analysis. It doesn't mean it's not there. I exist, but the I does not exist in the eyes of ultimate analysis. It does exist in the eyes of the conventional analysis. When you come out of this meditation, again, this self comes back. That is the self existing with respect to the conventional analysis. But in also ultimate analysis, to see if the self exists objectively, to be discovered that it's empty objectively. Stay in this experience for a while, but the self dissolves in the experience of ultimate analysis. Okay, this is the most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness. Slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, thumb-sized, white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Okay, now you're very fortunate. You have the you have the non-dual, the blaze of the non-dual bodhicittas, The moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta to exterminate self-centered attitude, and the watch is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta to exterminate all the mental defilements, both afflictive and cognitive obscurations. Amazing. So meanwhile, don't forget your two parents and all your dear sentient your children, that they are suffering so much. They're suffering so much in the world, everywhere they're suffering. Underground, there's so much suffering. And on the surface, there's so much suffering, wars, abuse, and so forth happening. Generate intense compassion to all the beings. This compassion invokes the Vajramoon to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajramoon at the heart of your mother, one side with your father, one side with each one of family members and with children, one with each of the beings here in India, in our own country, in the world, in the oceans, in the wilderness, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Now, everyone, be it human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddesses, spirits, everyone has to share the Vajramoon, which you so kindly shared. That's amazing. And also let us not forget the Buddhist Bodhisattvas that are watching us. Why not we invite the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the witness to our undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow? As just for making this request, that I slowly stand up along with all the mothers and shimiks to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the witness and a guest to our ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Okay, please see if you can sit on your right knees. See if you can sit on your right knees. This is taking the ceremony. And the question is, who's entitled to take this ceremony? Is anybody? It's not necessary that you should be Buddhist. It's not necessary. Anybody can take part in the ceremony as long as you are committed to be compassionate, to be nice to others, and not to harm others, and if possible, try to help others. This much you can commit to yourself, then you can take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So with this mind, let us turn to page 49. And because that for the offline participants, we have the old version of the book, where they have only the 3 verses. So the online participants, we will read the first verse 3 times, followed by the last 2 verses 3 times, which as per the old version of the book that the offline participants are having. So it's on page 49 for the new book, and the old one, page 50, page 50. Old one, page 50, and the new book meaning online participants, you are having that on page 49, and offline participants should be on page 50. We'll just read the first verse 3 times, and it's very important for us to contemplate on the meaning. So I'm going to quickly explain the meaning here. And here the first verse, which says that I go for refuge to the Chötrül Düchen. So we are undertaking a very important journey, the most important journey that we can think of, a journey to cleanse our mind of the mental defilements and attain a state where all the painful tears stop and the ease expands to infinity under any situation, under any circumstances. So because of this journey, very, very, very important, the most important journey that we can ever think of, we require a lot of support, and the greatest of support that we can think of are the Chötrül Düchen. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the Chötrül Düchen. Then second line is that the journey involves a road, and the road is blocked by fallen trees, the boulders, and so forth. You can, again, is great hindrance to your taking the journey. So the road is none other than your own mind. Your mind must be clear of the mental negativities like negative karmas, anger, and so forth. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car doesn't have enough fuel, again, you cannot undertake this journey. So the journey requires, and the car requires a lot of fuel in order to undertake this most important journey in your life, in the whole universe. So for that matter, this car is none other own mind. Your mind must be full of the fuel of the virtues. So for that, the rejoicing the virtues of others, that makes you virtues to multiply. Third line says, I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. Now the road is clear, the car is have enough fuel. What kind of journey I'm going to undertake? The journey to unravel my hidden treasure within me, where all my tears stop and my ease expands to infinite. This journey that I'm going to take. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, let's read it wholeheartedly. Imagine that you're leading this practice and all beings are joining us. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next two verses, the last two verses. Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Yes. So because for the offline participants, we don't have these other two verses, so we'll jump to this. So we'll just imagine that who on this planet Earth succeeded in this journey. We see that 2,500 years ago, there was Prince Siddhartha, prince by the name Siddhartha, and he succeeded in this journey. How did he succeed? So we explore. We discovered that he succeeded by him creating two factors. First factor is the factor of the motivation. He left the palace with the motivation to benefit all the beings, motivation to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, number one. And to materialize this aspiration, he created the second factor. Second factor is to the materials required for him to materialize this aspiration. That is, engaging in the Buddhist practices like generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, and the wisdom of emptiness, so forth. So if this is how he succeeded, then I'll also follow his footsteps, and I'll also engage in creating two factors. I'll also get the first factor that I'll generate very strong motivation on the Bodhicitta, which we already did. And now that to materialize this aspiration, the second factor, to engage in Bodhisattva practices to the best I can. So this is what we are reading here. So let's read this wholeheartedly together 3 times. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, repeat these two mantras after me. The first mantra 3 times, followed by the next. Om Sarva Yoga Chitam Upatayami. Om Sarva Yoga Chitam Upatayami. Om Sarva Yoga Chitam Upatayami. Om Surade Samayastam Osita Vajayata Sukham. Om Surade Samayastam Osita Vajayata Sukham. Om Surade Samayastam Osita Vajayata Sukham. Okay. Feel the joy of having received the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. This is where you plant a seed. Extremely, extremely, extremely precious. The seed to give rise to the best of the fruits in the world, the fruit of the ease, the infinite ease, the fruit where all the tears, painful tears come for yourself and for all the beings. This is so precious. Feel the joy of having received this gift of the Bodhisattva commitment. So this is what you did. The Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of what you did, to see that what you have done today, having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva, they're so happy. This happiness and pride, and they invokes the Vajramuni at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend these Vajramunis, infinite, the innumerable Vajramun from the hearts of Bodhisattvas to descend, to merge with the one that visualizes at your heart, to become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the Vajramun from Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that visualizes at the heart of the mother, at the heart of the father, at the heart of each one of you, dear mothers and makes you only children, that they become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Amazing. This is the best thing that you can think of. That the best way to repay the kindness of your parents of this life or the past lives, infinite number of the parents of the past lives. Oh, today what you did, this is the best thing to have done. So the best of the offering, the gift that you've made to all the demonstration beings. And of all the offerings that you can think of making to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, there's nothing greater than what you've done today. The Buddha said that one moment of generating compassion is far excels the gift of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the aspiration of Bodhisattva today, and today you have made the greatest offerings to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and of your life, with your life, you see there's nothing greater purpose than what you did today. You have given such a purpose to your life, and all these three wonders are happening because of the blessings of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up along with all demonstration makes to thank all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas for this. Okay, please take your seats now. Please sit comfortably. Okay, now we are done. Page 50 for the ones with new books, and the ones with the old one, I think is page 51. Page 51, the verse which said, throughout my future lifetimes. Is it page 51? Okay. So what we did now, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva, this is not something which happens naturally or is very easy, and it's all our effort, the karma of the past life, that we are together here, that we are able to take this to this, engage in this very noble activity of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva, the seed which can potentially germinate into becoming fully awakened, like the Buddha himself, like His Holiness. So therefore, this is something so precious, and we make sure that the same teaching we made in the future lives as well, because that if you are dissociated with this teaching, then we are in the dark era of miseries, continuous, endless miseries, one of the other, back to back. So to make sure that we meet with this teaching, so that we can go from the space of light to the brighter light, to eventually the perfect light of enlightenment, being put in the form of a prayer. So let's say this 3 times together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta even in the course of my life. In order to further embrace this Bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucid the seeds and awakened the mind of Bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today, my life has been well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha and one Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence, an awakened mind has been born within me. Is a supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is a dawning moon of the mind that expels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is a great sun that finally removes the mystic ignorance of the world, is the quintessential butter from the Chötrül middle Dharma. For all those guys traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the abundance of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in the supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, now let us go to the direction prayer. And for the direction prayer, those with participants, what you have is very short, I think, which is on page 51. It's a very short one, but the new book, it has the longer version. So we're going to read the according to the new book. And those of the offline participants who have the old book, don't worry, just listen to us and mentally dedicate the virtues properly. That's the most important part. And how to dedicate it? Let's dedicate that His Holiness. All the matters, no doubt that on this, the Buddha himself very clearly indicated that the important days with enlightened beings, and they performed the related to enlightened beings' activities, that they become very special. On these days, if you engage in virtues, your virtues will be multiplied the several thousand million times, depending on the level of the profundity of your experience of the emptiness, purge, and so forth. So no doubt that we have accumulated so much of merit today by gathering here. So this merit that we've gathered in, enormous the merit that we've gathered here, that is dedicated, number one, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that His Holiness have a very healthy, good life, and healthy and long life, as His Holiness be committed to remain for 113 years and 130 years and so forth, for the well-being of the whole humanity. And let's also pray that His Holiness' vision of the universal ethics today having taken the shape of the sea learning, may that thrive in the whole world, so the future generations will be very, very, very meaningful, and everywhere in the world come together, wherever there's the disaster happening, everybody comes together to give their hands to each other rather than the great wars and conflicts. In other words, let wars and conflicts, let us pray that all the wars and conflicts dissolve on the global level, on the national level, or on the state level, or on the regional level, and in the family, domestic level. Let's pray that all these conflicts dissolve. And let's pray that the teaching on the compassion, universal compassion, and the wisdom of emptiness thrive in the minds of all in the minds of all beings, and all these learning centers of the Bodhicitta, the wisdom of emptiness, may they thrive the activities of studying, contemplative meditation, and that the people live in harmony, the harmony spreads from the centers. May each one of you, through a personal practice, may dedicate that. Each one of you you soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness Bodhicitta within you, that you become the happiest person, that all your tears or painful tears of samsara stops. So with this mind, let's do the following meditation prayers together. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri summoned about her too, realize things they are, also dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may forward the perfect example. Now dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praise that's the best, all the Buddhas who appeared in 3 times, and so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. I dedicate the merit thus gathered to his realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight, and all lives to the furthest merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, the renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages, having dispelled all the inner and outer obstacles and downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, and natural disasters, to environmental degradation. All beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I journey the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can enhance his teaching achieved by the Supreme Savior, restraining his efforts over countless eons. From my two collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds crystallize blinded ignorance. Okay, with this, we will recite the Buddha Shakyamuni praise 3 times together. And those offline, you don't have this. Only with the new book, we have it. Tabo jebe ko shaye yebo kyala cha se no o mone mone Mona Yeswa Oh Mone Mone Mona Yeswa Sage Toje Shaye so tro shenge me to ge bonjo ba se ge de bo ta bo je be ko Shakyamuni Kyala Jatsa Oh Mone Mone Mona Iswa Oh, morning, morning, Mahamona Swaha Tage Tuje Shaya Reso Tron Ge Bonjamba Sege Bo Tabo Jebe Go Shaye Gebo Kyala Jase No Oh, morning, morning, Mahamona Yeswa. Oh, morning, morning, Mahamona Yeswa. Oh, morning, morning, Mahamona Yeswa. Moni Moni Mahamona Swa Moni Moni Mahamona Swa Moni Moni Mahamona Swa. Okay, thank you all of you. So we have now handed over the mic to Kongala, the program coordinator of Tibet House.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe-la, for your unconditional love and compassion towards your students and your disciple, and your unwavering support to all your students as well as your disciples, and to accomplish the achievements what we anticipate, and always blessing us and guiding us on the path of liberation. Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe-la. And I would also like to thank all our physical participants who have joined with us today for this auspicious occasion of Chötrül Düchen. It is really a moment of joy for me. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the online participants who are joining with us from Russia and also from YouTube with different interpretation we have. And I would also like to make a small announcement before we conclude this session. Before I conclude, I would like to thank our translators who are doing translations, simultaneous translations in Russian and in Ladakhi, Tibetan, as well as Portuguese. Ms. Carlota Pinera, thank you very much, everyone. And before we conclude, I would like to make a very short announcement about the Nalanda Diploma course, which we have. As for the registration for the Nalanda Diploma course Batch 6 is concerned, I would like to inform you that the registration has been opened on 8 February 2026. And the last date for the registration will be 8 April 2026 by 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And before that, I'm sure all the lateral students of the Nalanda Diploma course, they already know about the Nalanda Diploma course. I would like to give a short introduction about the new participants who would like to join with us for this NDC Batch 6. Well, because of the genuine need in the modern world to introduce, in a systematic and comprehensive way, various Buddhist subjects studied and practiced in the tradition of Nalanda and Tibetan monastic universities, keeping in line with that sophisticated tradition. And after that successful completion of these 5 batches, we have introduced the 6th batch of Nalanda Diploma course. And this course is being offered to participants who wish to acquire knowledge of various Buddhist subjects in order to deepen their understanding and Dharma practice. And Nalanda Diploma course Batch 6, we are very happy to introduce 5 different interpretations in Russian, French, Ladakhi, Hebrew, and Mandarin. And for more details about the Nalanda Diploma course, you can email or you can send us your application via nalandacourses@tibethouse.in. Well, with this, we have come to the conclusion. And now I would like to request my colleagues to kindly come forward so that we can distribute the holy edible to all our to all our physical participants who have appeared with us today. And all the young participants who have joined with us, I request all of you to kindly come forward so that we can distribute the holy edible. Thank you. I also request all the physical participants who would like to, who would wish to have a short audience with Venerable Geshe-la and offer scarf. You can come in. You can come in a single queue. And after this whole distribution, I would like to invite all the physical participants nearby the reception area. We have arranged rice, sweet desi, and butter tea for each and every one of you, and some cookies as for refreshment. Thank you very much. And thank you very much all the online participants who have joined with us. Thank you. Thank you so much.